Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time you remember, we made our way to Caval Keep and met Owen's rather disapproving uncle. Found out a little bit about the family history. Apparently he's trying to pay the Temple of the God of Revenge to do bad things to his daughter's current suitor, who we heard lives up in Kenting Rush, and I thought we might have a chance to run into him in this chapter. He might not show up until later in the game, but I could have sworn when I first played this I did meet him, but we'll go ahead and head back that way, just on the off chance, and then we're going to head southward, and if all goes according to plan, we might make it to the town of Romney. If all does not go according to plan, well, we'll come up a little bit short of it. And I think we checked this space before, but yeah. Currently sitting at about 1,500 gold, and after that last little bit of adventuring, I think maybe might as well head back this way, go to the Temple of Haggling, get that other set of armor blessed. And yeah, I guess he doesn't show up because you're supposed to walk right through the middle of town to find him. Of course, there may be another trigger that makes him appear, which we have to walk through the south part of the kingdom first, but we have time enough to test that. And boom! Of course, we have not had that armor enchanted yet, but actually I have enough to get... and got Goraf's sword enchanted as well. So we're all doing fine and dandy except for Owen's armor, but gives us something to work toward, eh? We're certainly well equipped with food for the journey. And yes, we still don't have that type of key. Thought we might have picked one up. And one little quick diversion. I remembered there being another set of chests that we didn't get to, and there's a few odd houses here and there. Can't remember if we got this one or not. Yeah, that one we did. It was north from the house. Oh, no, wait, it was around the other side of it. Roach and an emerald, and another wordlock chest. It stands while others sit. It groans when it's too full. It has 4 legs, but cannot run. And if it rhymed, it would be a bull. Table, of course. Alright, so this one gives us another scroll. A little spell called Thoughts Like Clouds. And we'll free up something in Owen's inventory to give him space for a scroll. Now, Thoughts Like Clouds, very useful but very specific spell. It causes enemy spellcasters to be able or unable to focus their minds in order to cast a spell. Which is not a bad thing, but given some of the spells you can cast that also disable enemy casters or do damage, it's not the best one you've got. But if you have nothing else... Did we uncover that earlier? I don't think we did. Alright, so with that bit of business done, and thus apparently not able to meet Navan Dusandu yet, we're going to head south and try and make our way to Romney, or at the very least try and get past Prank Stone. Let's go ahead and sell off the gems here. Actually, we'll hold on to the gems for the moment. Then again, if I sell them here, I might be able to... No, the second thought, we will sell them here. Oh, just shy of enough to... Aha, our extra herbal pack. I'll take that. We'll take poison antidote. Staff? Alright, got rid of my shovel. Let's see, hold on. Take rations. Let me take a whetstone. Not at a rate that will help us. Closer, but not enough. Well, poo. We'll just have to come back later, I guess. But yeah, I debated saving the gems because there is a shop a little bit further down this way, which was home to a rather notorious bug back when the game first came out. And the glitch was that there was this one gem shop that it sold gems at extravagant rates, but you could sell the gems there at a higher than normal rate. So it became a rather popular grift that players could teleport to the Temple of Banath, which is close by, and then they could sell off their gems there for much more than they could otherwise. Wait. Well, we have an inn here. And apparently everybody's barding went up at Owen's because he's already at max. Well, you know, I could go and get my armor blessed now, but I'll spare you that. I can go do that on another trip. And yep, Scarecrow. Can't do much but click on it. It was coming apart. Judging from the hay which spilled from the figure shirt, the Scarecrow had been assembled in a hurry by a desperate farmer. Nothing in the barn. Nothing in there. And, yeah, we're currently wandering through what is, apart from the Dimwood, the largest expanse of open territory in the game world. And there are a few treasure chests to be found here, but I'm going to go ahead and wander through the main part first. Aha! Goref stumbled. As Locklear shot a disapproving glance in his direction, the enemy assumed a defensive posture, ready to meet the foiled surprise attack. Thankfully, it's a group of trolls, so now we can put our new item to the test. And sure enough, the high-pitched noise has them running away. And just to show you the new spell now that I've got it, Thoughts Like Clouds confuses enemy spellcasters. You know, just for the heck of it, parting shot. See if we can down one of them just to make the point. Missed the one we're aiming at, hit the same one. Oh, what the hey. 2 for 2, come on. Woohoo! that seems to have increased everybody's abilities somewhat. And another field there. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this pathway here leads to, yep, Temple of Maneth, with 2 rogues standing out for guard in front. They were stopped by 2 men. "You will go no further," one of the men commanded. "Before any shall enter the Temple of Maneth, they must strip off all medals." Locklear scowled. "Under whose authority do you make these demands? We are representatives of Prince Aruf and order you to pass." "Let us pass." The men seemed a bit taken aback by this news, but as they departed, they continued to speak of their levy. "Metal is base and offensive to our God, and he who enters this temple with metal on his person shall be struck dead. From the other side of the temple, almost out of earshot, you heard, 'By the will of Baneth!'" Yeah, the God of Thieves has no such prohibition against metal. As you'll note, we are not struck dead. This is all part of a clever plan to try and get us to part with our gold. Which, of course, Baneth is, not going to stop a bunch of thieves from trying to ply their trade in front of his temple because, well, God of Thieves. Let's go ahead and talk to the High Priest here. The hour was sounded. Clapping his hands over his ears, Locklear looked resentfully up at the brass bells as they passed underneath them, mourning the fact that he hadn't a bit of beeswax to block out the clanging noise. If the priest leading them took any notice, he made no sign. The lector of the Temple of Baneth greeted them at the door to his study, a graying man with rounded features who patted each on the back as they passed inside to his study. "How may the servants of Baneth be of service?" he asked. "I'm not certain," Locklear said, taking a seat by the window. "We have a difficult journey ahead, and I was hoping that perhaps your God might have some insight into our predicament." The priest motioned for him to continue. Quickly, Locklear relayed most of their tale, with Goraf breaking in occasionally to correct some certain inaccuracies. When the tale was at last finished, the lector was squinting at them. "I'm not sure how we could be of assistance to you," he said. "It's placed the temple to give aid when possible, but it seems as if many of the things you're having difficulty with you have brought on yourself or matters beyond the reach of what I may do for you. I am sorry." Yeah, thanks for nothing. Okay, so those guys are not going to rob us unless we're stupid enough to drop our gear here, which we're not, or at least I'm not. So we're going to go ahead and explore the wilds a little bit, because as I recall, there is one trove of treasure chests in the southeast part of this wood, and one in the northwest. Aha. What did I tell you? Here's one set of chests. Never riddle lock. Brought to the table, cut and served, never eaten. Well, that would be cards. And nothing special, oilcloth. Widows and orphans, parents and kin. This is most disturbed by riots and war. Or disturbed most by riots and war. Well, what's the opposite of war? Peace. And hey, Surani quarrels. So, yeah. Just those two chests, nothing too particularly helpful here. The enemy watched as they approached. "Hold there," a hawkish man said, holding up a palm tattooed with a yellow spiral pattern. "Strip off your clothing and possessions. We shall make no further business between us." Locklear scratched his chin. "Must we come to blows over this? There must be another option." "No," the leader grunted. "I'm afraid there is not." So, a gang of rogues. No spellcasters among them. Yeah, Owen's becoming rather handy with that staff. Now that we've got him a lightning staff. And, well, nothing particularly fancy. And, yeah, this pile of rocks indicates where the original Caval Keep was. Here in the northwest part. Yep, a trap, and just beyond it. Thankfully, this one is rather easy. We've got the cannon pointing this way. So I think all I have to do is have Locklear push this one this way. Ah, yeah, there's a cannon there. Actually, let's move Goraf out of the way. Yep. There's a cannon there, which has cleared that path that way. Which I think means Goraf can now run this way without worrying about being hit. Yep. And hey, it set us up right in front of the chests. Let's see. We don't need wine, we don't need meat. We have sharp teeth, but cannot eat. That would be a saw, I think. Okay. No Dragonstone. Now we can't get rid of the ones we've got already. It can move over water but cannot fly. It can move underwater but still... or move over water but cannot fly. It can move underwater but stay quite dry. I think that would be a shadow. Okay, and there's the leftmost one. Has a tongue but cannot talk, runs but cannot... or has tongue but cannot talk, runs but cannot walk. If I recall, I think that's a river. No, not a river. Because that runs. Brook, maybe? Oh, a wagon. Well, we can at least get rid of the shells a bit easier than the rest of this junk. And those swords should be back for us later. Or we can come back for those swords later. Alright, well, back on the main road. Oh, hello, we didn't come across this dirt clump before. Well, hell. That's actually a rather decent sword for the price. But it can keep for later. Alright, so just around the river bend from the temple. I'm coming along here because I remember there being 2 chests here. And let's see. Whoop. Not the one I wanted. And yeah. Wrong one. Okay, never word luck one. Names give power, magic control. But what is broken by naming it? Silence. That one I remember. Okay, and hey, more gold. The language of men can be mastered, but what kingdom word is always pronounced wrong? Well, rather bad joke, this one. And another chest, some elven corals. And just to show... Yep, poisoned elven arrows. Which I really should give to Goraf. He is the better archer. Oh, and another graveyard. No longer can he hate his name. Lost his life fighting a fire. Talking of arrows. And we'll come back for that one later. Oh, to feel her sweet kiss. No. He sung off key. Aha! That would be a virtue key. Always our loving son. No. She loved to dance. Think not. He lies here too. May the goddess of death be gentle. Yeah, I think we got lucky messing with one grave and finding a couple of useful things. Alright, so here is the town of Prankstone. Yeah, so, yep. And I don't think they will take the weapons. They will not. Let's go and pass one of these down to Locklear. And they won't take the staff either. I get the feeling that only a magic shop will take the staff, and only then under duress. Well, that's giving us a fair bit to work with. Well, the tavern is still closed at this early hour. Gorf was about to knock on the door when he heard the shrill voice of a woman calling for help. "No one can save you now! Ha 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 ha!" boomed a raucous male voice. "The goddess of death will—" Before another word could be uttered, Goraf took several steps back and charged at the door, hitting it with his shoulder. The door gave way with a splintering crack. The force of the impact caused him to lose his balance, but he quickly regained it, drawing his sword as he quickly surveyed the room. He found himself eye-to-eye with a half-dressed man wearing a wig. There was no one else in the room. "What did you do to her?" Goraf demanded. The man sputtered a reply, still trying to catch his breath. "What? Who? What I did with whom?" "The woman. We heard a woman yelling for help. What did you do with her?" Goraf repeated, with more bewilderment than anger this time. "I haven't done anything. I'm an actor. I was just preparing for a play I'll be performing tonight, The Flying Sow." Goraf swallowed. "A play?" he said weakly. Sorry about the door. I'll give you 25 sovereigns, or whatever we have left. That should cover it." The man was still shaking his head when they left. Well, that taught us a lesson about how you're not supposed to click on every door in town. Of course, doesn't do us much good now, does it? A smiling man answered the door. Come in, he said with a large grin. "Have I got something to show you?" Curious, Locklear followed the man into the house. He led them to a table upon which there was a bulky object of some kind covered with a cloth. With a great flourish, the man pulled away the cloth, revealing a strange metal machine with a funnel on the top and a wooden crank on the side. "What is it?" said Owen. "It's a gem converter. Currently, I only convert rubies into emeralds, but I'm working on a formula to convert rubies into diamonds. Say, maybe you can help me test it. Would you like to help me give it a try?" "No." The man eyed them thoughtfully for a second, then said with a smile, "No matter if you change your mind, you just come back and see me. I'll give you another go. How's that sound? Well, I really must be running off now. Ta-ta." Yeah, you can actually come to it, and he will be able to change diamonds into rubies. Or rubies into diamonds. But the rubies, or the diamonds he makes, will be of much lower quality than the diamonds. And yeah, there's really not much in Prankstone worth bothering with, particularly not the stone itself, which, well, we'll find out about that one in due course, but the name is a bit of a giveaway. Okay, 86 sovereigns. The woman stared at Locklear. Unnerved by the intensity of the woman's gaze, he sought someone else in the tavern to speak to, but when he turned again, he found she was still looking at him, her thin hands gripped tightly around a cloth-wrapped bundle in her lap. "Do I know you, miss?" Locklear asked. "You seem troubled." "This was to be given to you," she said, her voice breaking as she handed over the package. "I was instructed to bring it here." "Instructed?" Locklear unwrapped the bundle and discovered that a single torch was within. Baffled by the strange present, he peered hard at her, but she had pointed her gaze at the floorboards beneath her feet. Lifting her chin delicately, he saw that someone had struck her across the face. "Who did this to you, and why?" "I do not know," she replied, her voice small in the clatter of pans and pots which came from the kitchen. "All I know is I was to bring this to the tavern and give it to one who looked as you do." That was a bit odd. The man was in a talkative mood. Taking drinks from an overly large cup of ale between talks about his mercenaries, he wandered eventually into a discourse about how much he hated the followers of the god Kahuli. "Why do you dislike them so much?" Locklear asked. Raising a single eyebrow at that, the man shook his head. "Those damn Kahuli priests in the temple of King and Rush aren't natural, I tell you. What pleasures a man's got they want him to give up, all tied up in those damnable codes of piety. What in Tiff's name does the mortification of the flesh mean anyhow, but some sorry stod's got to starve himself down to tooth and bone and give up witching and drinking? Not natural at all, if you ask me." This, shockingly, is an important clue to a quest later. And we got the whole mercenary story thing again. That does seem to have increased some of our abilities, so barding went up again. Owen's casting has gone up a fair bit. And armorcraft and barding are up. Right, so southward. And we'll go and stop at the bridge here. I think just after this, we got a little bit more. Preoccupation has dulled his senses. Aware as if something had thrown water over him during a pleasant dream, Locklear grabbed Goraf's shoulder. "Don't move. There's something not right about the ground before us." And trap. Well, this one, not too difficult. Just trigger that. We can have Owen run through. And let's see, in this pile of dirt there is more lockpicks and some oil for our bows. The road led south. Halting for a moment to ponder his options, Locklear stared off in the direction of the kingdom's populated heartland. We'll pass this way from Alex Cross or Sefnant. We head this way. Think that's the best idea? Yes. The landscape flattened. Slowly the hills and trees began to thin, far more sparse in the grassy midlands of the kingdom than the region from which they'd just come. And if we go immediately to our south, we'll come across the town of Romney. But first, quick little change. Because we are about to encounter somebody who will raise our skills much more efficiently if we have certain ones set. The way was blocked. From among the men who were guarding the bridge, a man stepped forward to confront them. I wouldn't advise venturing any closer to Romney. She's a city besieged. What's happened here? Guild war, uprising, chaos, the whole Romney's lost its senses. I'm surprised you haven't heard, but then again, a child scraping its knee in Romney seems more important here than does a coronation in Rillanon. It all started when the Guild of River Puller, that should be River Pullers, was pushed out of Silden by a splinter guild, the Guild of Romney. When the River Pullers tried to recoup their losses by raising fees in Romney, the Glaziers and Dyers guilds refused to take the brunt, and we contracted the Splinter Guild to bring in goods. Unfortunately, the River Pullers assaulted that they had royal grant of exclusivity to the river and burned 2 of the Romney Guild's rafts. 3 members of the Glaziers Guild were killed in the fire, as was the chief reeve of the Dyers Guild. We've been fighting for access to Romney ever since. Who seems to have the upper hand at the moment? Neither side. It's a stalemate with the labor guilds occupying the north bank of the Ursine Ford and the crafters on the south. I was trapped on this side before the river pullers ordered the blockade. Oh, and by the way, I'm Mitchell Waylander, local chief reeve of the Glaziers Guild. Nice to meet you. What do you think it's going to take to bring this fight to an end? We've sat down to negotiate with them, but the river pullers' leaders are hard old craft, and frankly, I don't think he wants to end it. They've laid claim to all the goods that weren't shipped as duty for breach of agreement. The local solicitor informed him that if it went outside of kingdom customs, but the river pullers assert it was also part of their royal charter. We just don't even know if such a document exists. Is there any other way into Romney? There was a time you could have hired somebody to boat you in, but there's not a soul on the river who could be fool enough to try out the river blockade. Rivers are nearly deserted because of it. Only people who are still around are the ones who can talk a blue streak. Really? And why is that? Unless you can haggle with the best of them, you'll not get a fair price on any of the goods here on the river. Might as well try and buy King Liam's crown with a packet of rations around here. Perhaps you could give us a few of the finer points of haggling since you're in the trade. Perhaps I could, but I really have to get some of my associates in sloop. I could stand to lose quite a bit of money the longer I wait. We might be prepared to remunerate you for lost time if you could help. Really? Well, I suppose I might be persuaded to give you a hand for, say, 50 sovereigns. That's my proposal. What do you say? I say you're as mad as old King Roderick, but I can't blame you for wanting to make him on a sovereign. You have your deal. First thing, don't cross your arms when you talk. I know as a noble you've been taught to look as imposing as possible, but that won't wash when you're trying to buy a bolt of cloth. Look vulnerable, or at the very least unimposing. Once you're human, it's a lot easier to believe that you're in need of a break. Sounds reasonable. What else? Look a man in the eye when he's talking to you. It makes him believe that you share interest with him, and he'll usually lull him into a charitable mood. He's much more malleable once he believes he's the authority on the matter. But what if he isn't? Listen 3. Never interrupt the man you're trying to buy from. Listen 4. Right and wrong lose their meaning in a bargaining atmosphere. It doesn't really matter if the sword that the shopkeeper presents you isn't the finest blade in the land. You are either interested in the blade or the price he quotes, or you aren't. Insulting the integrity of his good will only own you his scorn. Disinterest will more often lead you to better bargains. A few things to think about, and I dare say we may find uses for your wisdom elsewhere. My pleasure. I'd love to stay and chat some more, but I have finances to attend to. Farewell. Thank you, Mitchell. Farewell. So, yes, our haggling ability should have just jumped up a fair bit. Yeah, Locklear is at 74, Owen is at 81, and Gorath is at 48, which you'll note was quite a bit higher than we had before. And that seems as good a place as any to stop for now. And next time we'll go ahead and explore Romney proper. Though we probably won't buy anything there because the prices are insanely high. But we might be able to sell a fair bit there. But we will see you all next time. Take care until then.